Nobody really tells you that by chasing playlist placements, you can slowly kill your creativity. You do a deep dive into one of these Spotify playlists, you're going to find hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of beats. A lot of them, though, they're sounding the same. It's almost like they're made for the sole purpose of being pitched to playlists in hopes of getting accepted. Do an even deeper dive and check out some of the more popular artists on these playlists, and they have hundreds of thousands, sometimes even into the millions of monthly listeners on Spotify, and we all know the comparison game. You start thinking to yourself, I can do that too. This seems pretty easy. And the next thing you know, you're playing the playlist lottery, and you've got folders upon folders upon folders of beats that sound very much the same as well. That's kind of when I realized that this system was no longer working for me. I've referenced the conversation that I've had with Cal Kappa multiple times where we think back to when we were in high school and we only listened to underground music because the mainstream sounded the same and it was all the blingy rap and mainstream trap stuff. And you start to look at it and we realize that we're doing the exact same thing by chasing the playlists. We're making the same watered down beats with the soft drums, the highs cut out, very simple loops. We're not pushing our creative boundaries at all. And that was the moment where I decided I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to go back to sampling, and my creativity thrived because of it. I just found that the softer my beats got, the more frustrated I got because I was creating beats for the sole purpose of getting on these playlists and financial gain. And it was just a vicious circle of trying to create the most playlist friendly beats that I possibly could. And uploading a beat a week at the time, trying to crack an editorial playlist or a lo-fi beats playlist, a chill beats playlist, a study beats playlist, like anything that I possibly could in order to drive my numbers up. And like I said, the softer and more simple the beats got, the more frustrated I got by the lack of results. I think it was about midway through 2023 when I decided to take all the music that I had control of off of streaming services. I had already released a couple projects on Bandcamp, Joey, and Goodfoot that did marginally well. They didn't have the same 5-figure numbers that I was putting up on Spotify, but when I did a deeper dive into the data and the analytics and looked at the financials, I had actually made more than I did off of streaming platforms by going direct to consumer. And that kind of solidified it for me. So by early 2024, everything that I owned and had control over had been taken off of Spotify and Apple Music entirely, and I had gone completely direct to consumer with the exception of the stuff that I worked with labels and other artists. By the end of the year, I also found a way to put the CD duplicator that I had got off Marketplace to a good use. I stopped caring what everybody was thinking, and I created a Patreon. And combined that with Bandcamp, it was an absolute game changer for me because on top of strategic releases, I could now take all of the beats that didn't make those, compile them on a monthly artifact, press them to CD, duplicate them, and mail them out to the subscribers that I had on Patreon. This ended up being what was called the Virtue series. Shouts out to Be on the T, and there was always something to give at the end of the month. Every release or every month with the Virtues artifact, they get pressed and duplicated using the CD duplicator. This thing cost me $70 on Marketplace. Every CD also gets a 2-panel artwork and a direct-to-disc print that was made possible when I found this Epson XP7100 printer that I bought refurbished off of their website for I think it was $130 Canadian. This isn't a paid promotion or anything like that, but it took me researching to find which printers would actually allow me to print direct to disk, and so if I can save somebody the search results, I'm going to plug this as many times as possible. It's not always perfect, but it is direct to consumer and it is do it yourself. More importantly, I also have access to all my data, my followers, their emails, all these things that they tell you in marketing classes are the most important. It's the lead. Having ownership of that data is more important than anything. We've also got a Discord where I have communication lines with everybody within what we call the crookedverse, and it's been an absolute just life-changing experience for me, seeing what's possible when you actually put the effort in. Do it yourself and direct to consumer is not a shortcut by any means. It actually takes a lot longer to put together a physical artifact than it ever did for me to upload a single or an album and its artwork to streaming platforms. The rewards are a lot more fulfilling, however. I've built meaningful connections with other artists and listeners through this Discord server that we call the crookedverse. I've also got a really cool collection of DIY projects from artists like O'Ricky and Impression, No Kids Got Cats, Cowboy Dracula, SP Chops. It also allows you and it affords you the opportunity to do really cool things, like put together limited runs of cassettes. This is a one of two Owl and the Orca Canadian Heritage Minutes Edition. If you're Canadian, you know this is what the original cover looks like. You can do things like press up your own CDs. You got Lo-Fi is Dead, Get Over It, an extremely limited run. Golden, Owl and the Orca on CD as well. So your possibilities are endless. As long as your creativity is flowing, you can do absolutely anything you want with physically tangible media. Not to mention, like I said, the really cool CDs and cassettes that you can collect from really dope artists as well within any genre of music, not limited to lo-fi. If you've ever thought about going direct to consumer or do it yourself, I would encourage you 100 times over to, at the very least, just try it. If you have an idea in your head and you have a way that you can flesh it out, I can almost guarantee that you can find a way to put your music on a physically tangible asset. If you're into the financials as well, you can make so much more money just by going direct to consumer with less work and less pitching the playlist than you could ever dream of. This isn't me just trying to pump your tires or sell you snake oil. I've tried it. It works. I continue to do it, and I'll continue to do it going forward. My music, I haven't thought about putting back on streaming platforms since. And if you have any questions or anything like that, please feel free to hit me up. You can do it here. You can do it on Discord. You can do it on Instagram. Wherever you can find a way to get a hold of me, I'll gladly answer any questions. While you're at it, don't forget, like and subscribe. Hit the like button. Join the Discord if you want. We got a really cool growing community. All that good stuff that I pitch at the end of videos and all that stuff.